Alright, greetings everybody. It is time for another video today, and we are going to be taking a look at this batch of upgrade characters. Now, there's a series of different stuff. We have the FF6 characters, which I think are their own category at this point, the Dream Enhancements, and last but not least, the MA2s. So we're going to be doing that, I think, in reverse order today of what I just mentioned. Well done, bro. Alright, so for people who don't know, Dream Enhancements are taking a character from level 120 to 140. It is an expensive system called the Reincarnation system, as I've referred to in other videos, and the reason why I'm doing this is basically for planning purposes, because reincarnations are incredibly costly, and the resources needed to upgrade a character reincarnation system are incredibly rare still to this day on JP, and so far the devs haven't really offered a great solution, and I don't expect a great solution by the time it comes out on global. And also, I mean, yes, you can spend money, but I'm doing these videos primarily for people with limited resources and limited cash, as spending on this game maybe not necessarily the best idea, or not spending a huge amount of money. So let's get through the MA2 upgrades first. So first off, we have Rayches. Rayches has gotten a increase to basically water attack plus 10 and spirit penetration plus. She is seeing some limited use in water limited team. I think that she's not necessarily bad. I think being partnered with someone like Amneris right now, or Amnelis, is a particularly good potentially pairing, but since she's only recently come out on global and whatnot, and honestly we have to kind of see what her actual final upgrade will look like with her 140 when she gets it. Putting this on, just okay, might as well, it's an MA2, not really too terribly much to say there. All right, next up, Zazan the Unkillable, which seems to be a bit of a misnomer, is quite killable, but slash attack resistance penetration of 20 stays the same, evasion rate stays the same, and attack and HP go up an extra 20%. I honestly don't know how happy globalers will be about this, because feels really boring. I don't know if the HP is significant and the attack is significant. With him getting his 140, I mean, this could scale quite nicely into the future, but again, not too terribly much to say about this. Looking at Rivelka, Rivelka has missile, did not get her MA2, but did get a dream ability enhancement, so now we're starting to shift over, but this is kind of weird because, like, I'm just surprised they didn't just give her MA2 and call it a day sort of a thing. But anyway, getting her to 140, missile resistance up by 15%, human killer 15, magic attacks. Not bad, especially because, hey, guess what? There's two more recent Energist type characters who have come out on G. So if you think about like Kefka and you think about Roy, Mustang, and both those Energists, and you have a ton of synergy here with those three. And 100 plus 90 plus 50 here is 204 for limited cost events. This is actually looking to be a very synergistic team. Her other skill to get improved is her job level 25, which is a dispel chaining ability with a 200% mod now. Honestly, not bad. I think Rivelka is maybe even stronger recommendation for being worth it, because the biggest thing here, excuse me, is that, like, she does work really well, and the lower cost units are much easier to reincarnate to a higher level and basically end up with UR stats. So if you were doing the Kefka Roy Mustang thing, Rivelka fits incredibly well there with everything that you're basically doing and gives you a very strong magic 240 cost. However, you don't really have a tank in that composition, so maybe you're looking for a different fire unit here, but it's a consideration. Alright, shifting into our other dream enhancements, we'll start off with the lower rarity units and shift into the higher ones. First off, Vistralle. Vistralle got basically magic evasion of 20, agility plus 10%, and a skill upgrade to his job level 25, which is a 200% mod, single target, decreases single target resistance before the attack, and a CT boost to 400. I mean, there might be something here. I've never seen this character in really any kind of action. And I mean, light physical is very much a real thing right now. And, you know, if this plus someone like Engelbert allows you to squeeze in a high cost character such as, hold on, I'll get there, Wing Stern, then maybe there is something here. Again, same kind of argument that we had for Rivelka. I mean, maybe this is good, and you do have some extra magic evasion, and light evasion is still kind of a thing. I don't think that there's anything like super exciting here, but this attack is pretty good given the amount of AoE resistance. Yeah, AoE resistance is feeling more and more like just crippling lately, as some characters just have a ton of AoE resistance and it feels very resistant to a lot of popular damage attacks right now. So Vistralle, maybe. I could see corner cases where he is. As for Salire, maybe Salire you're looking to put into the Skahal team. Activation time for skills is down, magic attack resistance penetration is up. So across her entire kit, that's pretty good. I mean, it's doing a lot to improve some of her stuff. And here, her major attack, which is a single target resistance down style attack for 3 turns, 185 mod, is also becoming a select to target. So a soft version of Amnelis's ability. Again, just bringing this character up because she seems to be so relevant for this video. Amnelis is a pretty damn strong character, and that ability is very strong. So a thunder magic attack like this that doesn't need to skirt AoE but can still hit multiple targets is really, really interesting. And I think that this is just the future of mages right now, and Salire might actually, again, be good enough. Only really for thunder magic, only really for limited, but also this ability is probably really good if you haven't finished Selection Quest, because you're just going to probably roll over a lot of enemies with this ability. So yes, interesting. Rivelka, Vistralle, and Salire I think have really interesting properties for limited style effects, given their lower cost and their easier ability for people to actually 140 them and upgrade them. There's probably enough here to recommend each of them to certain people for them. Now, shifting into URs, we're going to talk about some stuff which is actually kind of funny. So I want to talk about Locke for a second here really quickly, because one of the things people have been noting is that Locke's upgrades are kind of disappointing because there's nothing here to really overly help him in what he was doing well before, and definitely he just dies to Sephiroth incredibly easy, like not even a challenge. So let's talk about Lameiga, because Lameiga has gotten his upgrade here. So we have a Master Ability 2, which is attack and initial AP, and with that evasion rate that he already had, and his Dream Enhancement is HP Strike Attack, which is pulling him away from the ever kind of mediocre idea that he was an evasion style character. Dark evasion has not really been a thing, and with this character has failed miserably to be a thing, in honest opinion. And here we have his dream ability pulling him back towards DPS, and a strike DPS maybe not terrible. You are getting a fair amount of upgrade here. And as you can see, well, wow, we don't have a job level 25 update. Well, what is being upgraded then, right? Well, we'll look through the list, and it's this ability. So it upgrades a couple of his skills, increases max HP by 20%, which is the same, defense by 15. Ignore sure hit for 3 turns. Lameiga is one of my least favorite updates because it goes in so many different directions and none of them are really good enough. Like, this character has never been good enough to be even a basic style evasion character. Like, his evasion rate and evasion support is just not there. Ignoring sure hit is kind of good, but you know, a lot of good DPSs right now just have some form of even higher accuracy or have access to good accuracy. And ignore sure hit, sure, it's a really, really cool thing, but it's not going to save this character, especially with just the amount of farming you might need to do with for this, and the fact that selection characters are using regular UR horns instead of special horns like Lucio, who had a white horn, which was something that you could get very easily without like spending money or whatnot. Yeah, Lameiga is a 100%. I do not recommend at all. And moving on. Next up is Muraga, which I love that Muraga's picture featured on Wotv looks so tiny. Not. But, you know, over the course, he's gotten attack, HP, and chance of being targeted, and more resistance. And his dream ability also gives him slash resistance, as well as AoE resistance. So he's looking more and more and more and more tanky. As for his ability that gets upgraded here, it's his increase human killer, deal damage, and dispel everything off of it. So basically he ends up with dispel on a short range that gives him also human killer at the end. I don't know if this is good enough because yes, Muraga basically works as kind of a tank that can also maybe kill you a lot of times. He has piercing damage, he has a lot of stuff that's good here, and people do talk pretty good about him. He even has ability cancellation, which is also weird, but he's so many things all in one. And Earth Element right now, Queen Macherie is there, and Muraga saw some. So yeah, I have seen him in some team Earth Element. I think that he's still pretty good. I don't know again, but if you consider the fact that for JP now, if we go over to Selection Quest for a minute, and then we go here, you can see that this new one allows you for dual type orbs for upgrading basically one or the other character, right? Well, at this point, if people are asking for a judgment call about what's better, like going for Lameiga or Muraga, 1000% Muraga is my highlighted one, and the other guy can just go fall into a ditch. Don't care. Yeah, maybe if Lameiga focused just all on offense, there'd be something here, but no. Moving on. Robb Horn. Now, Robb is another funny one because a light character who's kind of, you know, pushed a little bit of evasion. He got some evasion heat, and then his evasion went up, and now we look at his dream enhancement, which is initial AP of 20, cool, and more evasion for himself. Well, all right, what's the thing? What is it, Umbra, that he gets? Well, how about we wait, where yes, I remember. So this is on the sub part of his job, so it doesn't mean he can run Lancer or Soldier for his 140 upgrade, which is more limiting than a lot of others, but attack increase, defense penetration increase, critical rate increase, and ignore sure hit for 3 turns. So the Yuffie upgrade on an evasion character in a better evasion element, and Locke is just steam. Let me say, I think that maybe this character could have worked more in the heyday of certain light evasion. Now I think it's still particularly difficult, but the fact that now he has so much extra evasion support, there is at least something here. Do I think it's good enough to throw a ton of resources if you haven't already done so? Probably not, because again, this is something for like me as a JP player who has only 3 UR horns that I'm saving. I would never, ever, ever throw a horn at this without seeing someone else do it and prove proof of concept. The numbers might be there, but I'm going to let someone else take the lead on this one. Okay, next up, Ildyra. And Ildyra continues the trend towards support. Increase all attack resistance by 10%, healing power by 10. And as for her skill upgrade, basically it gives her extra AoE resistance. So she's harder to kill, and she also is just a better healer now. So yes, Ildyra has trended way heavier support in the later days, and she definitely still can find a spot in certain situations. Not all the time, but I think it's pretty good for an update. As for Garvall, now Garvall, if we take a look at him, HP plus 15%, dark attack plus 15, and upgrades one of the skills. And that skill that we are getting upgraded is job level 25, which basically gains piercing damage. Honestly, Garvall was a really good DPS before, and just becomes a better DPS now. Not really too much to say here. I actually quite like Garvall's update, and I think he's very, very strong for it. I think that this is one of the characters who is definitely lasted the longest time in terms of relevance. I still think he's good today, even though obviously like Maja and Vina has way more utility because of Celes, and Sephiroth is just insanely good. I still think that Garvall can enter the conversation, and if you wanted to do a weird Energist style thing right now, Kefka plus Garvall plus Roy maybe, or something like that, like you could do a multi-elemental Energist at this point and be kind of weird. Rainbow Energist could be a thing. I think Garvall is still potentially good enough to compete even in PvP. Maybe I'll try it someday. Alright, so let's go over the dream enhancements again, just for people as a bit of a summary. So I'm just going to make a note of that right now. So Robb, maybe, but wait for someone else. Vistralle, Salire, and Rivelka, all depends on your elemental preferences and limited style teams. Ildyra is a much better support, and I think generally good recommendation. Garvall is a good recommendation. Muraga is a good recommendation, and Lameiga is trash tier. Sorry for anybody who likes the blue-haired scamp. Now, last but not least, for completionist's sake in this video, let's talk about Final Fantasy VI. Now, Terra really quickly, it's acquired AP and reaction block rate of 40. Both of these things are important for her. You can combine that with upgraded, AoE resistance now being higher, and as well human killer plus 20. Basically, she's a better DPS, better survivability, and she can actually acquire AP better, which was a huge problem with her on JP. She couldn't acquire enough AP. She had 2 skill uses, and that really just kind of killed her off. Now we're looking at Meltdown also being upgraded, so it's 100% hit chance, but it also increases her magic attack for 3 turns. A fine upgrade, and it goes up to 5 uses now. Both of these are just really, really important for her, so I think that's generally good. Also, her barrier also gets upgraded, reducing the damage taken by 50% for 3 turns herself. There has to be another upgrade that I'm just forgetting there, because it does. Wait, reduces physical damage. Oh, okay, it reduces both type of damage now. So, I mean, percentage-wise, it didn't get any better. But honestly, Terra feels way better than she was before, but probably still kind of a little bit lacking compared to a lot of other units. So I'd say Terra is, again, based on your preferences for element, but stronger recommendation than what she was. As for Locke, reaction block rate of 30, slash attack up by 15, no extra evasion there, but did get slash and magical evade of 15 for going up to 140, and his Phoenix support ends up getting 2 uses now, but it doesn't overly matter too terribly much. Was primarily an evasion character before, and a pretty brittle one. Now with Sephiroth around and so plentiful in JP, doesn't really matter. I just don't recommend this as a 140 upgrade. Maybe somebody will make him, but I'm going to let someone else take the lead on that one, because he just didn't get sure hit evade, and that probably would have been at least enough to be competitive, but apparently that wasn't on the menu, so thanks, I guess. Now, as for our girl Celes, one of my favorite characters over the longest period of time in Wotv. Celes gets slash resistance of 20%, missile resistance of 20%, as well as she ends up getting HP increase of an extra 10%, which sure, that's actually pretty decent. For a tank, any extra HP is huge. Single target resistance of 10, healing power increase of 20, and of course the big thing here is that one of her skills now absorbs 30% of the damage done for 3 turns, and that's about it. Now, Celes was already insanely strong and basically meta warping when she first came out on, and now here she is with her 140, primed to really be competitive once again. I think Celes really has lasted insanely well. The only question is, like, what does the build change now? Because obviously absorbing damage as HP healing with that healing boost is really quite strong, and I'm just not 100% sure. I think that the upgraded weapons, like Celes's sword here, screen, I think Celes's sword is potentially like interesting with 170 magic now, and also a 15% HP increase for 4 turns and a slash attack increase. Just makes her a better damage dealer. Or you can actually run Terra's sword, which has spirit penetration and an agility boost. So there's options here to make this work better than I think some people. Now, I'll be testing it, of course, because I am in the water category, basically. This will be one. But here is my current version of Celes, and the overall, haven't reincarnated her many times at this point, but you look at, and she just looks just even better than she was before, even scarier to be around with these kind of upgrades. And this style of resistance and elemental, I think she's more than primed to. Now, Thunder Team, I think, will absolutely still pose a threat with Alphonse and whatnot, but boy oh boy, do I think, am I pretty overall happy with, like, as of the upgrades. I think I'm willing to say that for the Final Fantasy VI characters, Celes got the best thing, if not the best upgrade overall in the entire set. That's just my opinion early on. Terra got second best for FF6 though, and Locke probably got third. Honestly, I think earlier on I said that Locke was probably second place with Terra last, but there's so much salt here from me, just that Lameiga as well as Robb got evasion and Locke didn't. They could have thrown that on Phoenix support if they really wanted him to be strong, but very clearly not. So yeah, those are my opinions. That are my opinions for this video. Enjoyed it. Let me, of course, share your ideas and theories in the comments below. We'll see how things change over the next little while. Thanks for watching.